Well, good morning everybody from Lake Park, Georgia. We're just a couple miles from the Florida borderline. So I've been out for about a little over 2 weeks. I'm hauling back a load to Publix from North Georgia. Hauling, I believe it's Downy fabric softener, about 833 bottles. They're in cases. Weighs about 44,000 pounds in the box. Call a trailer a box. So we're just coming up to the Florida borderline. I'll be in Lakeland in about, let's see, remaining time, about 3.5 hours is what I figured. So I just thought I'd come on here and talk to everybody about getting your CDL. So if anybody's interested in getting your CDL, a few things you got to look at. So first and foremost is terminals. Are they close to your home? That's the biggest thing you got to look at, because you don't want to drive 2 hours, 3 hours to work to leave out on a truck. I mean, you can if you want to, but that's a big thing. Of course, pay is a big thing too. So, how much you're looking to make? I mean, you can make anywhere from minimum $30,000 to $40,000 a year. If you want to do local runs, regional, you can make more. And of course, over the road, all 48 states, you can make the most per mile, because you're hauling a lot of miles. So, and you guys can see we're just entering Florida. So there's the Florida sign. I have at home, I have a sheet that I use when I haul it around to companies. So if many of you don't know, I'm with Night Transportation. Been with them now about 8-9 months, driving solo for them now about 7, and it's a great company. Night's a mega company, and so when you start out getting your CDL, you want to go, there's 2 ways you can go. One, do a local school. Sometimes you can get grants from the state to get your CDL, or use a Pell Grant to go to trucking school. The other way is go to a company that offers a CDL school. So Knight has its own CDL school. Last year, because of COVID, it kind of messed things up for a lot of companies, because a lot of them were shut down. But Knight's back open again. Majority of the companies are back open again. So, and a lot of these companies will pay for either hotel stay, they'll pay for food, they'll pay to get you out to wherever they're at. So sometimes, like in the case of Knight, I'm in Florida, so you'd have to go to Phoenix or go to Mississippi, I believe it's Mississippi or Tennessee, I forget. It's right in the borderline. It's Mount Olive, I believe about Mount Olive's in Tennessee. But in any case, because we own Swift, and that's where Swift School is. So I believe with Knight, though, they don't pay to get you there. A company that I did start with to get my CDL, Wilson Logistics, they got me a rental car, paid for that, to have me come up to Missouri, to Springfield, Missouri, to their place to get my CDL. A lot of them don't pay for flights anymore because of COVID, so they get your rental car. some companies, like I said, will pay for your hotel stay. They'll comp you for meals. A lot of them don't comp you for dinner because everybody has their own choice for dinner. But they'll usually comp you. Or not, I'm sorry, not comp you, but they'll give you a free lunch at the terminal. Breakfast is usually at the hotel that you stay at, and usually they pay for that. So a couple things, like I said, you want to know, how close to your home it is, because then when you come home, you go home from there and you're not driving that far, because you've been on the road for so long. You don't want to spend another couple hours on the road driving home from your terminal. Another thing too, speaking of terminals, how many terminals does a company have? Like Knight has about, I believe, 25 to 30 terminals around the country. So it's nice because you can go to a terminal, get a shower. They usually have laundry, and it's all free. Vending machines, lounges. So it's really nice. Like all Knight's terminals are really nice. You can just hang out there. They're all secure locations. At least Knight's locations are all secure with the guarded gates. You got to use a pass to get in, so you can, have a safe place to park. So that's a big thing too. Pay, like I said, is a big thing. But before you even start to get your CDL, you want to talk to your family. So if you have a family, if you have a spouse, partner, you want to talk to them about it and see if it'll work, for your situation. Because remember, trucking is a lifestyle, so it's not something you just, unless you work local, you'll be home every night, most likely. But, if you're over the road or do regional or dedicated, you're away. And some companies have you away for weeks at a time, sometimes a month, sometimes more before you return home. So you gotta look at that. So if you're used to now maybe off, on the weekends, that's what, 8 days average a month, figure in, if you're only home, 4 days, because usually what companies do is they give you 1 day per week off. So it kind of just adds up over time. So if you're out for a month, they'll give you 4 days off. All right. So if you look at it that way, you're only home 4 days a month versus 8 days if you work a 5-day-a-week job now. But biggest thing with the family is make sure that everybody understands that this is a trucking, it's a lifestyle. When you're out on the road, like, this is your home. Okay. So kind of when you go home, that's your vacation. You spend a few days at home with the family, but then you got to go back out again. And if you have kids and all that, it can be stressful because you're away a lot, and a lot of things come up at home. As you know, when you're home now, things break in your home. Family needs you. Something happens. Kids got baseball games or whatever, and you might not be there for that. So home time, let's jump into that. Home time with a company is important then. At least it is for me. So one thing with Knight is they're very big on home time. I know a lot of companies say they're big on home time, but they're really not. But Knight, yes, is a business, so they have to run a business, but they also believe that you need your home time. So Knight's a company that is very, very flexible on their home time. So I basically came in and I said, well, I want to kind of be home every other weekend. So that's basically how I have it set up. So I basically go out, let's just take a Monday. I start on a Monday. So I'll run all that week through the weekend, all the way until the following Thursday. So basically, 10 or 11 days. And then I come home. And I'm home for 3 days. So basically, instead of being off 8 days a month, I'm basically off for 6 days a month. Okay? I just kind of pack my 3 days together and do it that way. But to get your CDL, Knight is a great company to start with. I'm not just saying that because I work for them, because there are other good companies out there. Knight will reimburse you if you, let's say, did go to a trucking school. They'll reimburse you, I believe it's like $35 a week And Knight does pay weekly, by the way. So that's another big thing too. Most trucking companies pay by the week, but might be some out there that are going every 2 weeks, but or bi-weekly. So they'll reimburse you. So if you went to a trucking school or went to, even another school that, said, hey, if you stay with us for 12 months, because that's what a lot of companies do. They'll pay to put through their schooling, but then if you leave before 12 months, they'll charge you, and it could be anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000. But if you stay with a company for 12 months, then they look at it as, it's training, and you worked for them for 12 months, so they won't charge you. But let's say you did. Let's say you left and you came to Knight. Knight will reimburse you $35 a week. I forget the time on that, but I know myself, which I explained in a previous video, that I did go to a trucking school up in Springfield, Missouri, Wilson Logistics. That's where I got my CDL, but I didn't finish the training with them. I'm not going to get into all the details, but I didn't finish my full training with them after I got my CDL because I just didn't like how they ran their training. It was straight team driving. So I had left, but I had to go to a trucking school, so I had to pay for a trucking school to go and get my, basically what they call your certification of experience. So Knight was reimbursing me for a long time, $35 a week to compensate for what I paid out of pocket to go to trucking school. Let's see what else. So you got your family to talk to, you got your pay, so you want to know, is it going to be worth the money? Talk to all kinds of companies, talk to recruiters, talk to them about, what they offer, how many miles a week, so a company could say, hey, we give you 65 cents a mile, but you might only do like 1,500 to 2,000 miles a week, versus another company that says, hey, we'll pay you 44 cents a mile, but they give you 2,000, 2,500 or more miles because they're a company that just is very busy and they can get you to and from very quickly, finish one load, pick up another right away. You'll make more money that way at 44 cents a mile than you would with a company that pays you 65 cents a mile, but only gives you 1,500 to 2,000 miles a week. On average, with Knight, I run the dry side, so I'm getting, on very good weeks, I'm getting between 2,500, a little over 3,000 miles a week. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes it's like 2,200, but it just all depends on the loads they have, where you're going. But it works out for me, so the money's there. Also, ask companies for detention. Do they pay for detention pay? Detention pay is when you're at a shipper or receiver, and let's say it's a live load, and they have to load you or unload you. Most companies, the first 2 hours, they don't pay anything. That's just standard, because it does take sometimes, between 30 minutes to 2 hours on average to load a truck. So they look at it as, well, that's just part of the business. After 2 hours is when detention kicks in. So ask them, what is your detention pay? Knight pays, it's not much. It's not as much as you make per mile, but they pay $12 an hour. And they'll break it down. So if I did a half hour, they'll give me $6. It's not much, but it's something for my time. Like one shipper I was at, I'm not going to say the name because it's a large company, but I sat there for 12 hours waiting to get loaded. I don't know what the problem was. Google reviews with a company showed they're horrible when it comes to loading and unloading. They're just not organized. So I don't know what happened, but I was there for 12 hours. And Knight paid me for it. They paid me $120 for sitting there. So they actually paid me the whole time, even though, I'm sorry, no, I did get paid for 10 hours, so it was $120. So I apologize, it wasn't for the full 12 hours. So again, pay, how close to your home, how many terminals, trucks. I mean, if you want to look at the trucks, if you're like myself, I'm partial to Freightliner. Knight has 4 different kinds of trucks. They have Volvo, Kenworth, Freightliner, and International. I've driven international, not partial to it. Volvos, they're very nice trucks. They have a different turning radius, so I'm used to just Freightliners, so I like the Freightliner. I got a 2020 Freightliner. That's another thing too is, does a company, how old are their trucks? So do they give you an old piece of crap? A lot of times you'll get an older truck when you start out, but they'll upgrade you usually after 6 months to a year. They'll upgrade you to a new one. Knight usually only keeps their trucks about 18 months to 2 years maximum. So, you might be lucky to get a new truck right away. I was fortunate to get a new truck right away. And when I say new, I had 98,000 miles on it, so that's new for a truck, trust me. These trucks go millions of miles. So that's a big thing. This guy just got over too close to me, so now I'm going to get over because it's just too close. So in any case, let's talk about, money we did, trucks, home time. Now refrigerated. We have a refrigerated division. Now, a lot of the refrigerated guys say, you can make, more money refrigerated, and it could be true. Time. That's what I was getting to. So with refrigerated, though, here's the thing: you might get more miles. Okay, meaning, they might say, hey, let's say like myself, I'm in Lakeland, Florida. So let's say they go, Jeff, we got a load from Lakeland to Phoenix. Okay, well that's a good amount of miles. Okay, so you're going to drive. You're just going to keep drive. Where in dry, they might say, Jeff, I got a load. It's 450 miles. And you pick up the next one. It's going to go 520. The next one's going to go, another 500. So for what they could drive in one shot, it takes me, 3 different deliveries. But usually I'm dropping hook. So that's another thing I want to look at now that I'm talking about this. So does a company do mostly drop and hook, which is basically taking a trailer to a location, dropping it, pick up another one from another place close by and going again, not waiting to have it unloaded. When it comes to refrigerated, you're 98% of the time getting live load and live unload. So you're sitting again. And you're sitting for hours. And I hear a lot of complaints ever since COVID, they're short-handed. So you could be sitting there 6 to 10 hours, unloading or loading, when if you were on the dry side, you'd be driving, during those times and making your money per mile and not $12 an hour. But, it just depends on what you want to do. Now, refrigerated too is mostly nighttime driving. When I say nighttime driving, you might be picking up or unloading at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning. On the dry side, a lot of times, you're just daytime. There are some nighttime live unloads and early pickups, but not in the middle of the night. A lot of the dry side is done during the daytime. So that's another reason I choose the dry side, because I'm not a nighttime driver. I don't like to drive nighttime. I might leave early in the morning. I might leave 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to start driving, but I know I'm driving. I'm not backing up in the dark. I'm not, it's just your preference, but, what you want to do. Try to think what else here. Talk to a recruiter. Oh, by the way, I should have said this in the beginning, but if you want to talk tonight, I get a bonus if you would start with us, commission. So I'll put my driver code down there, but to start just talking to your recruiter, you can fill out the application online. Just go to nighttransportation.com. And if you put my driver code in, which I have from on the screen here, I have it during the whole video. So I appreciate it if you would put my code in there. They'll treat you great, not only because they're night and they're really good. The recruiters are really good there. They don't falsify information. They tell you straight to the point how it is. A lot of companies don't. They'll lie to get you in the door. Not night. They're a large enough company. They don't have to lie, and they do things the right way. But put my driver code in when you fill out the application. I do appreciate that. And if things work out for you, I'm willing to split half my bonus with you. Okay, so I'm willing to do that. That'll help you out to get a jump start. I'm not sure what the bonus is. New drivers, I think it's like $500. So I'm willing to split that with you, give you $250. If you're already a driver with a company and come in, I know it's more. I think it's like $1,500. Okay, so if you're already a driver now, I mean, understand. I can't really. You're driving already. You're just moving companies. They give you the $1,500. I do get it still. I think like $500, but I'm not gonna split that with you because you're making a lot more than I'm making. So. But fill out the information online. It's all free. They'll spend as much time as they need with you to talk to you about, anything you want to know. Just trying to think also, again, I don't have my paperwork in front of me from the list that I used when I called around. I'm trying to think. So it's pay. You want to talk about orientation. How long is it? Usually orientation can vary. Some companies like Wilson, I believe, was like 1 week orientation in school, and then you're on the road for, oh geez, that was a long time. That could be up to 3 months. Night, I believe, is 3 weeks in school and drive around the pad, where you drive the trucks around, learn to back them and stuff like that. And then you're on the road with a trainer for 28 days or 30,000 miles. And you'll share the miles. That 30,000 miles will be when you drive and also when your trainer drives. Let's see. So close to home. Let's see. Pay. Talked about that. I'm trying to think what else you want to ask about. We talked about trucks. We have to drop and hook. I guess this weigh station is closed because I'm not getting anything. Let's see what the sign says here. Truck enter weigh station. So I can enter the weigh station here. So let's see what we got here. I'm a heavy load, so that's probably why they're bringing me in here. But any case, I'm going to slow it down here. If they have to weigh me, I'm going to have to break off. But if they don't have to weigh me, then I'm just going to continue on with the video. So here, you get a little extra in the video here. That looks like I'm going to get weighed, so I'll be right back, everybody. All right, everybody, we're back. I went through that weigh station back there, and there's 3 parts to a weigh station. You have your inner, middle, and outer, I guess, loop you want to call it, part you go through weigh station. So the first one, when you go through, they pull you through and they say, okay, we just want you to come through, and they kind of do there's a quick way when you drive through, and you just kind of just stay at 45 miles an hour, and they say, okay, you're okay. And then they just keep you on the inner band, or actually, outer band towards the highway. You just stay at 45 and get back on. Then they have a middle band. They say, okay, you're a little heavy, but we just want to have you come over to scale, so you go over a scale. But then there's an inner band they might send you to that says, okay, we think you're going to be overweight. We're going to find something. So that's where I went to, and that made me a little nervous because I know I'm heavy. But I went through over that scale. That was fine. They gave me green light, waved me on. I think a lot of times that's to do with the company too, because Knight's got a real high CSA score. So they look at us, hey, these guys know what they're doing. So they did a weigh on me though, but they could have pulled me to the right and said, okay, we're gonna go do a level 1 inspection, check all my lights, my brakes, do all this stuff, because this week, starting May 4th, I believe it was, they're doing real heavy checks on lights and also your logbooks. So I was surprised. I thought I was going to get pulled in because it's not busy right now on the road. It's only 7:45 in the morning. There wasn't a lot of people in there, but they let me through, so no problems. But again, going back to what I was saying before, if there's anything you guys want me to film, let me know. I've done a lot of backing videos, done a lot of unhooking and hooking. I can film through the windshield. I can film with the hat cam. I'm going to do a pre-trip video. That takes a little bit of time. But when it comes to getting your CDL, pre-trip is the biggest thing that you you need to know, because that is key. Besides backing up a truck, which they'll teach you, you got to memorize a pre-trip, and that's a lot of information. Schools won't really work with you on that. They just give you probably a 20-page sheet that has all kinds of information about pre-trip on where parts are, and you have to specifically say many things about the part. You got to say if it's leaking, it's not leaking. You got to say, is it properly mounted and secured? Is it broken? There's many things you got to repeat on every part, but you got to know where the parts are on the truck. Everything from the truck, the trailer, everything. Okay. Air brakes. Air brakes are a big thing too. You're going to take your permit before you go to school. So that's another thing too, is you want to look into what it costs to get a permit. Some states there's a cost, some there isn't. Mine wasn't. If you passed, there's like 3 parts to the test. So I passed all 3, so it was free when you pass them the first time. So I was lucky enough I passed all 3 the first time. But if I didn't pass, let's say I passed 2 out of 3, then I think I would have had to pay so much money, like $65 I think, for all 3 tests, even though I passed 2. But when you get your permit though, if you did pass 2 and fail 1, you don't got to come back and take the other 2 you already passed again. You just got to take the one you failed. Okay. Any case. So I'm going to do a pre-trip video. Don't know exactly when, but I'm going to work on doing that. But I appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, if you like my content. If you don't, please tell me the contents, what I'm doing wrong, what do you want to see, what I should do better, let me know. Please, if you could, share my content, share my channel on your Facebook page, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever you use, I do appreciate that too. The more people that watch my videos, more subscribers, it helps me, so I do appreciate that.